Hi, this is Yok Wong with PianoMother.com. I'd like to welcome you back to our webinar series. In the past two newsletters, we talk about the 5 challenges and 5 ways that you can improve your piano playing. We talk about how you can practice much more effectively by practice a small session at a time. And we also talk about how you can improve on your hand coordinations and how to make your hands much more flexible and able to listen to what the brains tell them to do. In these issues, I'd like to talk about another challenge that is a big one, a big challenge for many people, the ability to read music well. Now I'm going to break it apart and shows you different elements that you can do to make your music reading much more smoothly. Okay, let's talk about the first one. The first one that you need to do is to be able to recognize the interval of those notes. Okay, sometimes when you have easy music, it just gives you one note. You just have to read one note at a time. Now, that's a little bit easier. But then it gets harder. You start having 2 notes, 3 notes, and even 4 notes. Well, that's not easy, Once you have 3 notes with right hand, with the treble clef, and then you have a few notes with the left hand. That makes it all so complicated. The first thing you can do is to train yourself to recognize the intervals. Intervals really is the distance between 2 notes. For instance, a number 1 here, if you are not trained in recognizing intervals, then what you need to do, what you will be doing is to start counting. Okay, F, A, C, that's C, and then that's E. So you say, okay, that's C and E. Then I'm going to play C and E. Now all this takes time. By the time you figure out those 2 notes and put those 2 notes on the piano, it already takes about 3 to 5 seconds. But there's no way you can play that smoothly. Okay, so with experience, it comes, with times it also comes experience. Once you're able to tell this is intervals of a third, then you're able to use a third. You tell your hands to do a third, and it's easy to place it on the piano. And this one, right away I can tell you this is a fourth. Those 2 notes are a fourth apart. This is D and this is G. D, E, F, G. Now for me, I don't go in and personally count those 2 notes. I can tell right away this is D. And then I use interval recognitions to tell me this is a shape of a fourth apart. And then you also have this next one here. With experience, I can tell this is a fifth. Okay, they are fifth apart. This is the bass clef notes. You have a D here, and then you also have an A here. D, E, F, G, A. They are a fifth. You count the bottom notes, you also count the top notes. So they are a fifth notes apart. And this is a sixth apart. Okay, this kind of exercises, we talk a lot about it in our Mastering Piano Sight Reading course. If you want to improve on your sight reading, I strongly encourage you to take the sight reading course. Now, those exercises that we just went through, those are called harmonic intervals. That means 2 notes are together. Sometimes you can also use intervals by recognizing notes that are not stacked together, like this case. Number 1, you have 2 notes that are separated. Okay, those are called melodic intervals. I can also tell you this is interval of a fourth. From F to A, they are fourth apart. And then you also keep going with this. So every one, as long as you recognize the first one, and then you can keep moving using the intervals. It tells you a lot of things. Now with number 2 here, as you can see, that's quite a lot of notes. There are 3 notes stacked together. But what I can tell you is this is a third apart with the bottom 2, and then with the top 2, they are a fourth apart. And then I'm also able to recognize the bottom and the top note together. They are 6 apart. So right away, I look at this group, those group of intervals. I put my fingers on the pianos, A, C, F. And then you have fourth notes. This is even more challenging. But here I would recommend you to consider the piano sight reading course. The sight reading course will help you to learn the different intervals. Not only that, you get to have a daily exercise to drill on it. This is how the sight reading course looks like. Take a look at that.